afternoon, everyone. I'm Howard Berger, Realcomm, and I'm here with Richard Perks. He's Director of AV Infrastructure at Resorts World. Now, if you're not familiar with Resorts World here in Las Vegas, it is one of the newest, largest resorts. It has the distinction of being probably the most technologically advanced and innovative resort, hospitality, casino in the Western Hemisphere, if not the world. So Richard, glad you could join us here today, and thank you for all your help with the Resorts World Tour yesterday. Really impressed with your rich background. Could you share a little bit of your story and how you became interested in technology?
Sure. Technology, kind of growing up, in the 70s, post Apollo launch, on moon landing, and seeing all that technology as a kid, as a young child, I became very interested in becoming an astronaut possibly one day. Yeah. My father happened to be very plugged in with ham radio as a ham radio operator. He was sent to Oklahoma University by the post office to learn the first large frame computers that they were deploying at the post office in Secaucus, New Jersey, one of the big bulk mail centers. So he kind of was a big driving factor in me being going down the technology road. Then I got into middle school, and they offered electronics one marking period or semester, which I took, and I was very fascinated with component level design or component level technology and learning that. To where I continued that through high school, and then I ended up joining the Air Force in 1981. And got really exposed to some really new state-of-the-art technology on the F-16 with 1553 bus, Manchester Logic, something I've never heard of before, which is probably not used today in the military, but it was robust. F-16 weapon system was powered with it, so I got to learn that.
My family got involved in those, yeah.
Nice. So kind of progressed through my 4-year enlistment in the Air Force and ended up having the honor to join Hughes Aircraft Company and Missile Systems Group, where I continued to work in a lab environment. I started as a technician and quickly became a support systems engineer. Then I was sent to the Bay Area to Naval Air Station as a technology rep for their Phoenix missile guidance system. So I got to do that for a good year, and after that ended up joining the black side of the business on radar systems. So I got to experience some really great technology there, and very unique applications of technology, which you don't see everywhere. After about 10 years of that, I said, the Venetian was opening. I said, let me go ahead and see what that's all about. So I ended up opening the Venetian, and in 1999, you have no network really. Everything was sneakernet.
So you were the IT guy over there?
I was the AV
guy.
I had the music and page system, and I had no idea what it was actually until I saw it, because it was a new thing to me. But it was just something new to learn. I enjoyed learning it. I kind of became very, very proficient and sharpened the sword with that. That taught me audio DSP. Then networks started to come. We started with the CobraNet network. We started transporting audio throughout the property to amplifiers. I saw the benefits of the savings of money by networking audio. You don't have to have long home run cables for speakers. Yep. That was back then, and as we've progressed to today, every single device can now be a PoE endpoint, which is fabulous, and that's kind of what I'm very excited about in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we are too. In fact, for those folks who didn't have the ability to be here at the conference, we had a low voltage symposium yesterday, focused all afternoon, focused specifically on PoE and digital electricity as the backbone to replace the traditional AC systems in buildings. And we have the PoE consortium is housed here. I think we have 9 companies in the pavilion, so we're very much behind that whole concept. Yeah.
Great.
So what brought you how did you get to Resorts World?
I opened the Venetian. I was in 2006. I entered the development department, which is the construction design team that designed Palazzo. So I actually did the AV system design and integration for Palazzo all the DSP programming was me, and I drove the restaurant control system programming. Managed that whole process, so it would all work together and function properly. Then after Palazzo, I ended up doing the Sands Bethlehem, the whole casino there in 2009 it opened. So I did some projects, and then with the downturn of the economy, gaming stocks were really, really low, so most casinos cut out all their construction. I ended up finding myself just taking a job for a short time. Well, I thought it'd be a short time, it was 6 years at the Monte Carlo, which I did a lot of projects there. I kind of cleaned up the systems that they had, made them more usable for the technicians that were operating the building. It was very confusing. That's just the way they had it laid out. So I kind of fixed that. We ended up doing a few projects, and then about the time I was on the Park Theater project. At that point, the offer came in from Resorts World in 2016 to join the design and construction team, which really was an amazing time because it was almost 3 years before actual construction. So I was able to be a part of the entire design phase of all the low voltage systems. And primarily AV is my main function, but I ended up becoming the manager of the DAS system. I assisted ensuring that IT had their endpoints and fiber infrastructure laid out properly so that they would be able to utilize it, because we had a couple of changes in our IT team throughout the process as well. So I kind of took on that responsibility. And I also assisted surveillance with their laying out cameras and every aspect of low voltage.
So
FBMS,
you touched all the low
every
voltage,
single piece of it.
Yeah. That must have been quite an experience, actually being involved in the strategic design of that over there. So they gave you the budget to pretty much come up with the most state-of-the-art, most innovative design, correct?
I had to estimate a budget based off square footage numbers, and which caused me to have to reach out to actual electrical contractors that do the work and find out what's today's cost for these square footage pricing that they would estimate to. And I kind of used that model and came up with I ended up with about a $33 million budget for OS&E, which is TVs, mounts, switches.
Is that cameras and everything?
No, that's AV.
Okay,
only
just AV.
I had nothing to do with budgeting for the parts and smarts for the IT systems or the surveillance systems.
Okay.
That was not they had hired, by that time they finally hired some people for those areas in operations.
I mean, but with sub-projects like the Globe, how much of that, the budget did the Globe
The Globe was a $15 million procurement and installation, but there were also facility impacts, which I don't have the complete numbers to, because there was construction costs to put, the structure itself is fairly massive, but the actual metal structure that was installed, the electronics, all the framing, that was the $15 million cost. The facility impacts to it, the air conditioning, sprinklers, power, all that was another cost that was associated with it. So it might have been another $2 to $3 million more after you tally all that up.
We could spend 2 hours talking about all the technology that went in there. So, what were some of the projects or some of the individual technologies that you got involved in that really excited you the most?
What really excited me the most was selecting the audio system platform, the DSP solution. I had chances to do bi-amps to Sierra. I looked into doing a media matrix. They had kind of fallen back a little bit and hadn't come up with a new product just yet. Harman BSS hadn't come out with a new product yet, and I couldn't make any commitments. I looked at the QSC QSys platform, and I really loved it. It's scalable. Plus, it had the plugins available to work with a plugin as an API that another manufacturer's IPTV solution worked extremely well, where I could extract the audio off the video stream within the DSP platform using Dante. And it just to me, that excited me a great deal because I didn't have to have any analog line audio cable in a rack anymore, all network, which the racks look
It was
like,
a dream, yeah.
The racks have no wire in them, basically. To me. They're almost wireless.
That's great. It's just, I'm just so impressed that you had the opportunity to really, at a time where there's been so much, the technology has improved so greatly with everything from the DSP to the the low voltage systems that we now can cobble together some really impressive technology engineering. So must have been quite a journey.
It's been quite a journey. There's plenty more journey to go.
I'm sure you.
Now, my new future endeavors include bringing PoE lighting into our projects as we move on. Maybe some retrofit to them. Just anything to make it more easy for operations teams to maintain the building without having to call electrical contractors for lighting issues. A big deal when they treat it like it's an endpoint.
And senior management is totally on board with the...
I'm having to educate them.
Yeah.
But when they start seeing the ROIs and the savings of on electricity alone for these systems, there's a heck of a potential for migrating into this realm.
Yeah, no, there's a great business case to be made. Well, I just noticed we're run out of time.
Oh.
As I said, I could talk for like another hour.
That went fast. Oh, I was worried I didn't have enough materials.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Richard. That was great.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for